here is Alex Azar. He's the head of the Health and Human Services. Now, there was a whistleblower that came out and said that when Trump overrode the CDC, which said, hey, we should not be flying these people back into the country. We should allow them to stay sequestered where they are, quarantined where they are, because, for whatever reasons, we don't, it's like, it just increases the risk, right? Like, hey, I know you think you can handle that nitroglycerin, but maybe it's just not worth it moving it. Maybe just leave it there.
Wait, transportation is bad if you're trying to quarantine something?
Yeah, apparently that turns out that way.
Weird.
But you know what's even worse is once they get there, to send a bunch of people who have no training, and you don't want to make them look like they're doing anything serious. Like, this was the watchwords of the administration with this whole thing. Cash. Keep it cash.
Chill.
Everybody's just got to be casual because we don't want to spook the markets. And a whistleblower told us basically, hey, none of those people who were sent down there had the proper training or equipment by design. And then we hear that it was around that Air Force base is where people started contracting it because probably some of the workers got infected. And here's Alex Azar basically saying, I take that whistleblower complaint very seriously. Incidentally, I think there's already been retribution against that whistleblower.
Finally, a whistleblower in your department raised a concern about a number, I think a dozen HHS workers who were apparently sent to receive the first evacuees from China, she says, without proper gear, without proper training. And she raised this concern. I know you say you're investigating, but that woman, was she reassigned, as she claims, after she raised this concern?
So first, it is vitally important that we protect our employees in any situation. It is vitally important that we follow
Pause
the
it for 1 second. Again, this is like, I feel like I could teach a course on this, with just like these two things of like how you can avoid answering a question. Go back. The question is, she said there were these problems and then she was reassigned. Was she telling the truth? First, let me state a very general principle that I am sure we have not upheld. Second, let me just assure you that principle that we've not upheld, we're definitely going to uphold. And third, in the unlikely event that we did not uphold that principle that I've pretended that we've upheld, I promise you we're going to investigate deeply into the question as to whether we upheld that principle. That's my guess where he's going with this.
I know you say you're investigating, but that woman, was she reassigned, as she claims, after she raised this concern?
So first, it is vitally important that we protect our employees in any situation. It is vitally important that we follow the appropriate isolation or quarantine protocols in dealing with individuals. And it's important that no whistleblower ever be retaliated against, and we will never permit retaliation against a whistleblower. Let me give you the facts that we know so far. First, every HHS employee who was involved in the allegations in the whistleblower's complaint has now been well over 14 days from any interaction with individuals, and nobody is symptomatic or has the disease. So there was no risk. There's no risk to the people of HHS, no risk to the community, even if the allegations prove to be true. So that's a very important fact. We also have offered voluntary testing to our employees. It's not medically indicated because they don't have the virus, but if it comforts them, we're going to get them tested so they know.
But what happened to the woman?
Pause it. You haven't already tested these people? You haven't tested all of your HHS people? We're going to voluntarily, really? How about mandatorily? How about doing that yesterday, guy? It's been 14 days since you brought them back. What have you been doing for the past 14 days that you've not been testing people? I'm not talking just about those people that they apparently had to be quarantined. We're talking about the competence of an agency that we, in moments like this, rely on quite a bit. So let me assure you that we, probably did not mess up, but maybe we did. But to the extent that we did, we haven't noticed any problems from it. And, just in an abundance of caution, because
If it comforts them, we're going to get them tested so they know.
But what happened to the woman? Was she reassigned? She had said more than 10 days ago that she was reassigned. You certainly know whether that happened.
Well, I'm not going to discuss personnel matters. That wouldn't be proper for me to do. But there will be no retaliation against this individual or any other individual. We are grateful. If our employees raise concerns about our processes, if something proves not to be right, we're grateful for that.
If she was reassigned, I know you can't discuss. If she was reassigned because of raising this complaint, you're saying she'll be restored to the position.
Nobody would ever be reassigned or discriminated against or prejudiced or retaliated against because of raising concerns about the functioning of the department.
And you can't tell me whether that happened.
I'm not going to tell you whether that happened because that's still under investigation. We're doing a
Wait, pause it. Wait a second. So there's no way that happened. Can you tell me if it happened? Well, I can't tell you because we're still investigating. Like, what kind of agency are you running that you have to investigate as to whether somebody got reassigned? And why couldn't he tell us? Like, this is too sensitive of information. That's top secret.
By I can't tell you, it means I don't want to tell you.
Right. Well, I don't want to tell you because we haven't finished the investigation.
You know what?
But I can tell you it did not happen, and I can confirm that. But of course, I can't tell you about the status of what happened where she's happened.
And they don't have to tell us. These people are in power. That's why their lies are so sloppy, because they know it doesn't matter.
That's right. All they're trying to do, on Fox, is just make it sound like it's reasonable. I'm like, Chris, come on. What are you doing? Seriously? You're not going to get a Peabody for this.
Do better, Chris Wallace.
Come on, Chris Wallace. What are you doing? That's what they're all saying to him after they get up in that crisp. Really letting us down.
We have to investigate it, but that whistleblower was probably lying about why she was reassigned. That's what he's saying there, basically.
Yeah, and I got news for you. We would never reassign someone in the incredibly narrow circumstances I'm about to lay out that would actually be impossible to achieve, as opposed to the sort of the general story. We would never, ever reassign someone who criticized our internal workings if they misspelled some words in a very unique and different way than one would imagine.